Hi, it's Friday and time to look back at what happened at Queen's Park and Ontario politics. This week, the date for the step 3 of the reopening from the pandemic was announced. It'll be next Friday, July the 16th, and I'll talk about what that means. Second, political pressure is able to get a majority government to change its mind sometimes, and there are a couple of examples of this week. And lastly, the school reopening plan. What is Ontario going to do? It's only a couple months away. The clock is ticking. This is something that is very important for the future of this province. Keep watching if you'd like to find out more. Otherwise, join me next week as I talk about what happened at Queen's Park and in Ontario politics. The date for the step 3 of the reopening from the pandemic was announced this week. It's Friday, July the 16th. We've made a lot of progress. More than half of adults in Ontario have been fully vaccinated. So lots will be reopening on next Friday. It's going to really feel like things are reopening. It's a long list, but the main thing to keep in mind is that if you are indoors, wear a mask and stay a certain distance, 2 meters away from other people. That's a good rule just to remember because so many things are going to be opening up. We have to stay on course though. There are certain things that are vulnerable. For business planning and hiring, we don't want to go off track and have to backtrack. For kids under 12 who don't have vaccines and probably won't have until maybe September at the earliest. The number of cases, COVID cases in Ontario is stubbornly around 200 a day. And there's the Delta variant that's circulating around Ontario. And here in Kingston, we shouldn't feel like we don't have to worry because Kingston historically has been pretty safe. We just had an outbreak at KGH. So we can't take safety for granted here in Kingston. We all have to try to get vaccinated, follow the rules, keep each other safe and healthy. I know somebody personally who got hospitalized just recently in the last couple of weeks and passed away. It's quite sad. But looking forward, the prize after step 3, if we all work together, is that pretty much everything will be open in the next step. There were 2 examples this past week of pressure on a majority government from opposition, from the opposition party, from interest groups, from the public, that caused the government to change its mind. A ministerial zoning order was changed to not allow development on environmentally sensitive lands, the Duffins Creek wetland near Pickering. And Premier Ford made it clear that he was going to make a $3 an hour raise permanent for PSWs. It was set to expire after August the 23rd. So it's really public pressure from opposition politicians and interest groups that makes that happen, even in a majority government. And lastly, school reopening. This is something that everybody agrees is important, resuming in-person learning. We've had a significant disruption. The disruption to learning was quite significant, and I don't want to see in the coming years, for example, high school graduation rates dipping, because that's going to be economic and social cost for decades to come if that happens. There are lots of suggestions on what needs to be done. The Ontario Liberal Party wrote down a whole bunch of suggestions, which the government is free to borrow. But generally it boils down to, I would say, the most important thing, more help for teachers in the classroom, because they're the ones who are going to assess the students, who are going to understand what needs to what's missing and what needs to be recovered from in terms of learning disruption. And opposition politicians have been pressing the government because there's only 2 months left until the school reopening. The time to do anything substantial is starting to run out. So we're hoping to hear from the government as soon as possible on what the plan is. And I encourage them to do that. If you like these videos, please follow me on social media and tell me what you think in the comments below. Please join me next week as I look back again at what happened at Queen's Park and in Ontario politics.